Coming up in this edition of Mainland Television News, Nelson, Tasman around a fortnight away from being called a drought area, motorcyclist hit by car, and Ministry for Culture and Heritage visits Nelson. Nelson, Tasman is about a fortnight away from officially being called a drought area. Local council officials have met with federated farmers and the Ministry for Primary Industries this week to talk about the deteriorating situation, which has seen water rationing imposed in Tasman and the driest conditions seen in the region for more than a decade. Federated Farmers Nelson President Gavin O'Donnell told the Nelson Mail if the region didn't receive significant rain by the end of the month, it was likely a drought declaration would be sought from the government. I spoke with Gavin O'Donnell about this possibility.
The situation is that we review the situation again the beginning of this next week. And if there is no rain, certainly by the end of the month, if there's no rain, we're in pretty serious sort of trouble. So the undertaking that we had was that we would review the situation at the beginning of this next week.
Fantastic. What's the morale of farmers in the region?
Morale is reasonably good. It's been a fairly depressing sort of year given the large decrease in stock prices. And so this very dry late summer period is just compounded that. But overall, farmers are resilient types and they generally find ways to cope, but this is certainly adding stress.
And would you say that, most farmers in the region have been prepared for this kind of scenario?
Most farmers in the region certainly are well familiar with the sorts of strategies that you need to adopt in these dry periods. There's been a lot of information put out by both beef and lamb and federated farmers and what farmers should be doing and the sorts of actions they should be taking.
Fantastic. So if a drought declaration, is made in this region, it means that farmers will be able to access financial and welfare help? Yes,
but that there is means tested. So it's not a free handout for everyone. So the assistance that is available is really targeted to those who are in genuine need.
And what would you say would be the likelihood that a drought will be declared? Because clearly there, rain is on its way, but it's only sort of showery rain, isn't it?
Well, it's always difficult to tell exactly what's on its way. The weather is in a fairly settled phase at the moment. The thing that is likely to break this dry spell is perhaps the tail end of a tropical cyclone which dips down this far. So our eyes are on Catherine at the moment, that's sitting in the northern Tasman Sea. We're ever hopeful that that will eventuate into rain.
And just finally, economic impact of these weeks without, the land being replenished, and so would you say that's a fair comment that, it will have a huge economic impact on the region?
Absolutely. Potentially the economic impact could be really significant because it not only affects the production in the current year, but we're at that time of the year when it will have an influence over the production for next year as well.
Full details of the water restrictions in force in the Tasman region are available on the TDC website, with all residents in urban areas asked to conserve water where possible and with hosing restrictions in place. Handheld hosing in the urban areas of Richmond, Marlborough to Ruby Bay, Brightwater, Hope, Wakefield and Tabawera is only permitted on odd and even calendar days corresponding to the house street number and between 7 and 9 p.m. only. Meanwhile, the use of urban irrigation systems, sprinklers and the washing of cars is discouraged. And in the face of continuing warm, dry weather and an increasing fire risk, vehicles are now banned from Nelson City Council reserves. Walkers, cyclists and runners are still welcome to enjoy all reserves, but they're advised to be extra cautious about the possibility of a fire and always have an escape route in mind. And a 40-year-old female from Tapawera was airlifted from Motueka on Monday evening by the Nelson Marlborough rescue helicopter. The woman was riding a motorcycle which was hit by a car at open road speed. She was treated by the on-board intensive care paramedic for pelvic injuries and flown to Nelson Hospital. Then, in the early hours of Tuesday morning, a 79-year-old male holidaying from the Wairarapa was airlifted by the Nelson Marlborough rescue helicopter. He was staying at the anchorage near Torrent Bay, and after waking during the night, he fell while getting out of the cabin, injuring his hip. He was treated at the scene by the on-board intensive care paramedic and flown to Nelson Hospital. And property values continue to soar in Nelson and Tasman. The latest residential price movement report from Quotable Value for February 2013 shows homes in the Nelson region were $393,000 last month in value, up 2.8% on the same month 1 year ago. Meanwhile, Tasman values climbed 1.6% last month to the current value of $396,000. And the annual Robertson Trolley Derby is back on this weekend on Saturday. The event has been in the spotlight over the last 12 months with the release of Tony Simpson's Kiwi Flyer movie, which was set in Nelson around the Trolley Derby event back in the 1970s.
Tim Bailey, this weekend is the Trolley Derby again.
This is the big one, yes.
Now, how many registrations have you got so far?
We've got a full house. There'll be 72 odd trolleys at the top of the hill ready to go.
So if someone wanted to suddenly put a late entry in, is that possible?
Well, we have one or two we keep spare in the rockets class, so there could be one or two more rockets come, but the zoomers and sprinters, the kids classes are full.
Right, and so I guess it's going to be a beautiful sunny day on Saturday, but the weather's not looking good for Sunday.
Yeah, there's something coming our way. We're just hoping it holds off until we're all done.
Now, if it does rain, is it going to be a rain day on this?
Yeah, the rain day is the following Saturday, so that would be the 23rd.
Right, so I suppose all the people are going to be gathered. You're going to have the hay bales out, those that haven't gone to the farmers up north?
Yeah, no, they haven't gone yet. We've got hay bales all organised through Grace Church. They do it as a fundraiser and get it from a local farmer and then take it back to him, so it works out great.
Excellent. So how many people do you think are going to show? Any kind of indication?
We usually have 2,000 to 3,000 spectators show up on the day, and it's a great day for fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters, so it's a great day for them to come out and help them raise money for getting more mentors for kids in Nelson. Now,
secret weapons. Do you think there are going to be any secret weapons on the day?
Oh yeah, I know there are a few out there. People will be doing a few things, and I got one or two up my sleeve as well.
So yes, now I can remember years ago pram wheels would go missing for trolleys and that sort of thing. So you've had a day where people can build trolleys?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a build like that. We usually have the recycle centre gets pretty empty this time of year, and we've been using wheelchair wheels lately, so we figure all the senior citizens are on blocks for the next week.
Or walking frames?
Yeah, walking frames. All the wheels have suddenly vanished and disappeared.
All right, Tim, look, we'll be watching with interest on Saturday. It should be a good event. What time does it kick off?
It kicks off around 10 o'clock, but the main action happens sort of between 12 and 1, and then after lunch, then the semis and finals, and goes till around 3:30, 4 o'clock.
That's great. All right then, Tim, thanks for your time today. We're looking forward to the event.
Yeah, thank you. And we look for everyone to come out and have a great day.
And two representatives from the Ministry of Culture and Heritage visited Nelson on official business this week and were hosted by Nelson RSA President Barry Pont, the District President Derek Nees and Squadron Leader Gary Dunn, New Zealand Cadet Forces. Senior Advisor for the National Monuments and Commonwealth War Graves, Margaret Marks, is responsible for checking all war graves throughout the country, which is a mammoth task. She can only visit once every 2 weeks, and to assist her, 3 local cadet units will keep the headstones and plaques clean as part of their community activities. There are a number of war graves spread throughout the Wakapuaka Cemetery of veterans from the Boer War, World War I and World War II who died of wounds within 2 years of each war finishing. These are separate to the RSA cemeteries. The headstones are affected by lichen, weathering and sometimes vandalism. Chrissy Small was on hand to speak with Margaret Marks about the graves within our region.
one of the things the Ministry does is we act as agent for the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. Now, the Commonwealth War Graves Commission looks after all New Zealand's overseas war graves from World War I and II, but we act as the Commission's agent here in New Zealand for almost 3,500. We call them true war graves of people who actually died in New Zealand. If you were a serving member of the forces, yes, and it was wartime and you died, then you count as a war grave just as much as our war graves overseas. So we act as the Commission's agent and we inspect these graves every 2 years and arrange maintenance if necessary. Now, these 31 graves in Waka, they're what we call true war graves because they're distinct from the graves of veterans. Veterans, of course, served in wartime but came home safely and lived obviously for many years after. But these are people who actually died during wartime, which is the difference. So we've got 31 in this beautiful cemetery, and 1 South African war grave, and 8 from World War I, 23 from World War II. And it doesn't matter if you don't have the official soldier's headstone. If it's a private family headstone, we would simply ensure that that headstone just looked clean and kept it as the grave would have originally looked. So we don't make any distinction between graves with the official soldier's headstone and ones with family memorials. A couple of years ago, we had two of our war graves had bronze plaques on them that were stolen, obviously for scrap metal value, which is how I got to know Brian, who was then the welfare officer of the Nelson RSA, and he came with me on my last inspection of the cemetery in December, and it was Brian's wonderful idea that we involve the cadets, because of course I only come every 2 years, and quite a long period of time for those graves to be left. So if the cadets could, come in at regular intervals and just make sure that they look clean and tidy, it would be the most wonderful community effort. It would be just splendid.
And acting director for the World War I Centenary National Programme, Pip Swaney, along with Margaret Marks, was here to visit the CEO of the Nelson Provincial Museum, Peter Millwood. It's hoped that relatives of the deceased will come forward with information about the veterans, which will be forwarded on to the Nelson Provincial Museum Research Department and the World War I Centenary Committee. And after the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up around the region.
Hi, I'm Duncan from Health 2000 Nelson and Richmond. At Health 2000, we are the experts in your good health and well-being. If you have questions about natural health, we can answer them. Health 2000 Nelson, Motueka, and our Richmond Mall store is now by the new entrance.
Hello, sir. Have you seen this?
TV in the South Island goes digital on the 28th of April. To keep watching TV after this date, you need to have Freeview or Sky.
Thanks for listening.
Now's a good time to check with friends and family to make sure they go digital too. Visit goingdigital.co.nz today.
Hi, I'm Randall. Welcome to my bar. Come on in and join us.
Randall's Cafe and Bar on Victory Square, Nelson. It's a great place to meet for lunch and dinner, enjoy our homemade baking and great pizzas, or just catch up with friends for a drink and experience the friendly atmosphere. Plan your birthdays, meetings or functions with us. We also have a bottle store for local convenience. Randall's, the place to meet.
G'day, I'm Andy from Circle Automotive at 133 St Vincent Street, up the road from Harvey Norman. We're your one-stop automotive repair shop. From Warrant Fitnesses to engine rebuilding, minis to buses, we do the lot. Book your vehicle in for a Warrant Fitness and service combo, mention this advert and you won't pay a single cent for the Warrant Fitness check. So come down and see me and my friendly staff for all your mechanical repairs and needs.
FAV Mobile Solutions are the scooter, walker and wheelchair specialists for the Nelson region. Call in and see the huge range available. Take one for a free test drive and pick up your free booklet guide. They also provide a rescue service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. Come in and see Robin and the friendly team at FAV Mobile Solutions in the Richmond Free Car Park opposite the Old Town Hall.
Waimea Telecommunications, specializing in free-to-air satellite TV, computer cabling, telephone systems, wireless and broadband internet installations. Call Julian Toon on 544-4203.
Welcome back now for some community notices and events to put in your diary. Stoke seniors sit and be fit at the Stoke Hall on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 11 AM. There's great music and fun while you're getting fitter. For more information, contact Shirley on 547 1433 or 021 121 8023 or contact Stoke Seniors on 547 2660. And a specially designed travel expo for Nelson Grey Power members is being hosted by Nelson Air New Zealand Holiday Store at the Suburban Club between 10 and 11 AM on Wednesday the 20th of March 2013. There'll be some wonderful travel suggestions on offer and spot prizes will be awarded to those attending. This is one you shouldn't miss. And Race Unity Day celebrates all the cultures that have been brought to Aotearoa, New Zealand by our forebearers, as well as the more recently arrived, with a fabulously colourful outdoors event at Victory Square Park on Sunday the 17th of March from 11 AM to 4 PM. The day begins with a civic welcome to all our international students, followed by cultural performances from various ethnic communities. There'll be a great choice of traditional foods on offer and activities for the children. Entry is by gold coin donation. And an evening with New Zealand author and TV personality Jo Bennett, titled Fish Like a Drink and Other Stories, is on at the Theatre Royal, Nelson, the 21st of March at 7:30 PM. There is reserved seating. Tickets are available from the Theatre Royal box office at 78 Rutherford Street, Nelson. Phone 548 3840 or ticket direct on 0800 224 224, that's toll free. And sheep-dog trials are to be held on Saturday the 23rd of March at Nelson Lakes St Arnaud, beginning at 7:30 AM. There are 2 heading courses and hunt-away courses. All border collies and sheepdogs are invited, and the public are invited too to view this event. Volunteers are welcome and will be provided with free lunch, morning and afternoon tea. Refreshments are supplied only to volunteers. If dog handlers need help with animal training, there are free classes on offer, plus advice. And for people who want to volunteer, they can contact Ken White on 03571 6079 or 0275 716 779. You can check out the New Zealand Sheepdog Trial Association website for sheepdog trials information. And on behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thanks for joining us. We'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Hi, I'm Duncan from Health 2000 Nelson and Richmond. At Health 2000, we are the experts in your good health and well-being. If you have questions about natural health, we can answer them. Health 2000 Nelson, Motueka, and our Richmond Mall store is now by the new entrance.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Tune in to Sunshine Radio, 87.8 and 107.5 FM.
Music hits so hard, can't touch this.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $9.79. So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Hello, sir. Have you seen this?
TV in the South Island goes digital on the 28th of April. To keep watching TV after this date, you need to have Freeview or Sky.
Thanks for listening.
Now's a good time to check with friends and family to make sure they go digital too. Visit goingdigital.co.nz today.
If your eyesight is getting you into trouble, call the Wellington Eye Centre. We'll get you seeing clearly.
Mandy Computing welcomes you to our new location at 124 Vanguard Street, Nelson. We offer an extensive product range of computer, hardware and software. We supply, install and service, provide support contracts. Over 30 years of expert advice for home and business customers. Come and see Murray, Steve, Fraser and Denise. Give us a call, 5468 045. Mandy Computing, we have megabytes of experience.
Welcome back. The referendum on whether the Falklands should retain their political status as British overseas territory has entered its second day. Argentina cost the island Las Malvinas. The sovereignty referendum seeks to counter Argentina's increasingly assertive claim over the British World Territory. Officials are expected to announce the results at about 2300 GMT after the poll closed on Monday.
Residents of the islands waited in long lines on Monday for the second day of voting. The two-day referendum asks islanders a simple yes or no question. Do you wish the islands to retain their current political status as an overseas territory of the United Kingdom? Islanders expect the answer to be in favor of British governance and protection, a result they hope will put their own self-determination at the center of any debate about their future in the face of Argentine claims to the islands. Some said they hoped the referendum would garner international attention.
I think the world will take note. I don't think Argentina will take note. I think Argentina's stance on the Falklands will stay the same. But hopefully the world will now listen and know that the people of the Falkland Islands have a voice.
I think it will go a long way to getting a message round the world that we may be a very small community, but we have got a voice. You know, I think that's because we're so small, you know, there's so much that's not known about us, and this is a form of education, if you like, for the rest of the world.
The referendum is considered illegal by the Argentine government, as most of the inhabitants of the islands off the southern coast of Argentina are not indigenous but of British descent. Argentina claims Britain stole the islands from them nearly 2 centuries ago. The two nations fought a war over the territory in 1982 in which 649 Argentine and 272 British troops were killed. The islands' dispute remains an open wound in Argentina, where many Argentines initially supported the war but came to blame the ruling military junta for losing the fight. Andrew Dupuy, CCTV.
The inhabitants of the Malvinas Islands in South Atlantic are holding a referendum on whether they should remain under British control. Known as the Falkland in the UK, the islands have been under British rule since 1833. Argentina has consistently said the Malvinas, which lie just over 400 kilometers off the Argentine coast, is Argentina's territory. The Argentine government has dismissed the referendum as meaningless. Daniel Schwemmler reports from Buenos Aires on how feelings in Argentina are running high.
The Malvinas issue is always high on the Argentine agenda.
It's a constant political topic, the subject of protests and debate across the country, with many issues from their 1982 invasion of the islands still not resolved. But to the locals, one thing is clear. As they say here, Las Malvinas son Argentinas. The Malvinas are Argentine. 649 Argentines and 255 British troops died in that conflict. Mario Volpe was one of the survivors, and the reasons for which he fought then remain strong today.
This situation concerns the whole of Latin America and the international opinion. Argentina is asking for dialogue. It's not just saying no, it's asking for dialogue. Let's sit down and talk and see what the United Nations has to say. There's a lot of support for the measure, for the whole of Latin America and now all of Africa.
Mario Volpe has not returned to the island since that conflict 31 years ago, but he'd like to.
Yes, I would like to return, and I would like to return when the Argentine flag is flying over the Malvinas, because that would be just, not only for my comrades who died in the war, but for those first settlers who were displaced. And of course, we have a message of solidarity and peace for those living now on the Malvinas, because the Argentine constitution doesn't allow any kind of aggression towards them.
The Argentine government has already called the islanders' referendum a publicity stunt. Most Argentines believe wholeheartedly that the Malvinas are theirs and that the British have occupied the islands illegally for the past 180 years. No referendum, however convincing the result, is going to change that opinion. Daniel Schweimler, CCTV, Buenos Aires.
Elsewhere in the world, to the cheers of thousands of supporters, acting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro officially registered on Monday his candidacy for upcoming elections. Take a listen.
I'm going to accomplish Hugo Chavez's orders with the biggest love that he cultivated in our hearts. I'm not Chavez, but I'm his son, and together with the people, we are Chavez.
Both Maduro and opposition leader Henry Capriles have begun Venezuela's election race. Maduro, who was sworn in as acting president after Chavez succumbed to cancer last week, is seen as the favorite to win the April 14th election. Bolstered by an oil-financed state apparatus and a wave of public sympathy over Chavez's death. Chavez made clear that he wanted Maduro to be his Socialist Party's candidate to succeed him if he died. Maduro has vowed to continue the socialist policies of Chavez's 14-year rule in the South American OPEC nation, including the popular use of its vast oil revenues for social programs.
Looking for a professional web hosting service at an affordable price? EasyWeb offers a money-back guarantee with no hidden costs. EasyWeb have fast and reliable servers and free technical support with daily backups. EasyWeb, your specialist for hosting WordPress websites and blogs. EasyWeb are New Zealand owned and operated, so check it out today. EasyWeb 0800 394 932 or head to the website www.ezi.co.nz.
The majority of information in our life comes to us through our vision. With only one set of eyes to last our lifetime, it's important that you look after them. For over 20 years, Physique Harrington Eye Care has led the way in providing the Nelson Tasman region with professional eye care. Our team are committed to providing you and your family with the highest standard of eye care. As part of this commitment, at Physique Harrington Eye Care, we recommend Crizal lenses. Crizal is a revolutionary lens which repels dust and fingerprints. This means it's easier to clean and stays cleaner longer. Visit us at our Nelson, Richmond and Stoke practices and ask about our Crizal satisfaction guarantee.
Everybody has a story that needs to be told. At the time of death, we reminisce, we honour, we remember.
My family have been helping Nelsonians tell their stories with respect and dignity for over 4 generations.
I'm proud to be part of the next generation that recognises every life is valued and meaningful.
I promise that my professional and qualified funeral directors at Marsden House will assist you when you need it most.
Talk to Marsden House about how you or your loved ones can be remembered.
.1 The Shed.